Here I've got the new Boss Space Echo 202, which was the only effect that I used on that demo track. Perhaps a little overused, but I think it gave a nice feel for what this can do. That was just 4 tracks of this SH101, played through this, plus a drum loop. So a nice blend of vintage and modern, I thought. And I guess you know what this is, but just in case, it's an emulation of the RE201 tape echo from the 70s. And there were a few models. There was the 101, the 150, the 201, the 301, the 501 and the 555, and all of those had slight differences, but the 201 is the one that seemed to be the true Space Echo. They're all a little bit different. The 101 and the 201 were transistor based, the others all had integrated circuits, and I guess when Roland decided to make a digital one, the transistor based ones were the ones to go for. The 101 was the more basic unit, it had less delay options and no reverb. The 301 added a chorus, making it the chorus echo. The 501 and direct mount cousin, the 555, has added noise reduction, and they were the flagship studio versions. But I guess, as I say, the 201's the classic. It's got the spring reverb and it's transistor based. So why emulate this when there are so many delays on the market? Well, as these are the classic tape delays, they cost a small fortune, and they're anything from around £1,000 for a 101 to well over £2,000 for a decent 301, which, let's face it, is ridiculous for what you get. But they also have to be maintained to keep them going, so I just can't justify the costs. I've been looking for a Space Echo for about 6 months to a year now on eBay, and no sort of good value ones have came up. So when this came out, yeah, hey presto. But for £300, does it do the trick? And looking at the interface, it obviously looks a bit like a Space Echo. It's not identical, there are a few differences, which we'll get to. But essentially, you've got 4 heads. The 201 only had 3 actually. And you use this selector to select which heads are playing. We set the repeat time here. And this sets the bass time, which is the time of head 1. Head 2 is twice as long. Head 3 is 3 times as long. And the next selection is 1 and 2 together. 2 and 3. 1 and 3. 1, 2 and 3. And then we move over to the new ones, which have got head 4, which, as I say, the original didn't have. And actually on 12, it's not playing 1, 2, 3, then 4. It's just a bit of a spread to give it a sort of nice lush feel. So if we turn the intensity up, which is the feedback, that's the Space Echo sound. So it's a bit like having sort of multi-taps or different patterns, isn't it? These are nice, these extra ones. Are nice to have, don't have to use them. And yes, you can hear there, it's in stereo. So that's repeat, intensity, and this intensity knob is where the sort of real character of the Space Echo comes in. If we turn up a little bit more. There we have it. And I use that all over the place. You have to really balance it with the echo level, otherwise it goes really loud. But you can keep that playing for hours. Even if you drop it a bit low, you can always bring it back. And we've got bass and treble. And that to me sounds like a Space Echo. Really does have that feel, doesn't it? And the only bit we've not looked at here is the reverb. Let's turn the echo down. It's a spring reverb. And as you can hear, the tone knobs don't affect the reverb at all. And the nominal setting is a spring reverb, but we can change that actually if we turn it off. Hold tap when we turn it back on again. We're now on the menu system. I think if we go to 12, is it? We've got different reverbs, so that's the spring reverb. And I think we've got room, hall, plate. So room, hall, plate and ambience, or something like that. Anyway, let's put it on to 3, see what that is. Is that plate? Or ambience? Let's try another one. Let's go to 2. Okay. Oh, it's quite overdriven, that, isn't it? It's weird. I've done it on guitar. It's time to switch to guitar. Sorry about that. Try another. Let's try number 1. And again, the bass and the treble aren't affected anything. When you're in that menu system, you can do all sorts of different things. You can turn off the dry signal, so you can use it on a mixing desk, so it's just the wet signal coming through. Change MIDI settings. In fact, you can select up to 127 memories. On the unit itself, there's only manual and 4 memories, but there are 127 in there. But let's put it back on the spring to keep with the authentic feel. So it's a really simple reverb, just fixed length, 1 knob. Okay, let's take a look at what else we've got down here. We've got this saturation up, and this is really nice. I'll just change the sound slightly on this synth to a... Turn the saturation up. Now this saturation's a preamp, and it saturates the tape. Really nice, this. Use this all over that intro track, probably a bit too much. Turn it off. Really nice. And when you're in bypass mode, actually, you can have this so it still comes through the Space Echo preamp, but not through the tape. And I have to admit, I have done that, and I can't really tell much of a difference. Maybe it works better with guitars. A test for another day, but it is meant to do it. Okay, so very nice. Then we've got wow and flutter. We all know what that does as well. So it just sort of damages your tape, basically. And actually, it's better heard just when you're listening to the feedback itself. You can hear it sort of kills the feedback as well, doesn't it? Interesting. Nice little interactions between the different knobs. I really like 2 and 3. So nice. Can't help but just play with it. Lovely. Okay, let's put these back to sort of central again. I'm going to have a listen to new versus aged tape. Make the sound a little bit crisper. Bit grainier, a bit dirtier, not quite as much treble. A couple of other little interesting bits we've got on here. We've got this sort of twist when you hold it and basically twist the repeat knob. Or we've got hold function. Plus we've got tap. So that to me is the same time we've just been playing da-da, da-da, a bit slower, da-da, do it a bit faster, da-da, 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 But what this does, which is a bit weird actually, this taps for repeat or head 1. But if we just use the repeat knob, that's as slow as we can do. But when we tap it, we'll go a lot slower. You can go up to 2 seconds actually. Again, there's a setting when you turn it on that you can do to make up to 2 seconds. So if you're tapping it in a gig, you're tapping it for head 1, which means you can't get these faster ones. You couldn't do that using the tap unless you tapped it super quick. Because if you listen to how fast 1 is playing there, so you'd have to tap it, da-da. There you go. So I think maybe there's a setting in there, I don't think so, I've read the manual, that you could change this tap to be head 3 or head 4. That's actually my only minor negative with it. But once you know what it is, you know, you can learn to live with it, but just a bit weird. Da-da, da-da. That's just not possible using the repeat. And what the repeat knob's brilliant for is breakdowns and builds. So you've heard this sort of stuff 1,000 times before. Love it. Well, final thoughts. It's a really great little unit, this. Does it sound like an original 201? Well, who knows whose 201 it sounds like, because people say even if they've got a couple of units in the studio, they both sound slightly different. So it's the character that's important here, and this really does have that character in spades. So whether it sounds identical to yours is sort of beside the point if they all sound a bit different. It's the character that counts, and this definitely has the character. That distortion circuit, the intensity, the way the intensity sort of changes depending on the head selector knob. I'll just show that very quickly. I'm not sure, I can't remember if I have or not. Whoa. Sorry about that. So when you're on one of the single heads, when you're on a single head, you get much more feedback than when you're on multiples, for example. So there you heard it drop straight away when I put 1 and 2 together, so. Weird, isn't it? But I love the fact that it does do those little idiosyncrasies. I love the interaction between the wow and flutter and the intensity. And it's nice that it's got a couple of different reverbs, because I actually not a massive fan of the spring reverb. In fact, the only place I really like it is on the Space Echo. Got it on the Mo Grandmother. I'm really not a fan of it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please think about subscribing, ring the bell, join me on Patreon. I've got loads of bits and bobs on there that might be of interest to you, and it really does help support the channel so I can bring out more videos like this. So I will see you next time.